Kit Maplecourt grew up in a wealthy island mansion in the distant Emerald Sea. Her father had stumbled into tremendous wealth when he was a young man, through means he never told Kit. When Kit reached adulthood, she decided to run away from home and forge her own path as an adventurer. She left with an ornate dagger, some fancy clothes, a very generous sack of her father's money, and a map. An old sailing map that had hung in her father's study for her entire life. A map of the IRC, with a red X placed on an island south of Glass Tower, and faded writing that said gold something. As the party sailed away from their little time loop excursion, Kit showed them the map and asked them to ignore the tower quest for a while. The party agreed because digging up a bunch of treasure sounded awesome. Elbin, from his years of sailing, recognized the location shown on the map. It was a mountain island called the Ancient Isle that sailors avoided because it was filled to the brim with strange monsters. As the party approached the Ancient Isle, they heard the sound of flapping wings. Suddenly, a massive dragon swooped down and attacked the ship. It ignored the party, instead tearing off the boat's mast and flying off with it. "Hey! Dumb fucking dragon thing guarding the island! You shouldn't have done that! Now we can't sail away and have to check out the island to get our mast back, dumb bitch!" The party stepped off their boat and walked through the island's jungles, eventually coming across a large clearing. There they saw... Hold on, let me get the music. There they saw majestic creatures, unlike anything they'd seen before. Actually, come to think of it, they probably hadn't seen most land animals because of the whole water world thing. Whatever, we're doing a Jurassic Park thing. As the party walked into the clearing, they felt heavy footsteps that shook the ground. The dinosaurs fled as a massive Tyrannosaurus charged for the party, sharp teeth bared. Now, full disclosure, the party was level 7, maybe 8, something like that, and T-Rexes have a CR of 13. But in my defense, I often put my players against higher challenge ratings than are appropriate, because my players are really, really smart and trounce overpowered opponents with ease. I once put a level 10 party against an adult red dragon and they won. This is my defense against my actions. The party split up to try and avoid getting hit by the T-Rex. Sean ran one way and fired off Eldritch Blasts. Ren ran the other and shot arrows. Kit did some monk shit, I don't remember. And Elbin hit the T-Rex with powerful bolts of lightning. The T-Rex, with its -4 int, decided to go for the person who hit it the hardest. And it hit Elbin with a pair of powerful attacks, almost killing him instantly. And at this point, I began to realize that things might go badly. Elbin couldn't run because that would trigger an opportunity attack that would kill him. The rest of the party couldn't run in because they were too far away at this point. They didn't manage to kill the T-Rex from range, so it became the T-Rex's turn again. It hit Elbin with its tail, knocking him out. And I, sweating, say, you know, it doesn't have to use its other attack. And Elbin's player, the fucking Giga Chat he is, says, "Hey, do what you gotta do. If it happens, it happens." He does not fucking sound like that, but it works for the video. The T-Rex bit Elbin, taking away 2 death saves. Elbin rolled a death saving throw, and he did not roll high. And for the first time in my career as a DM, I permanently killed a player character. The party killed the T-Rex and stood over Elbin's corpse, shell-shocked. And then, walking out of the jungle, came an elderly fire genasi druid, who happened to sound very similar to Elbin. A glowing fox familiar made out of fire rested on his shoulders like a scarf. He invited the party back to his hut to rest and talk. They said yes and asked the old man his name. "Oh, that's simple. I'm Iroh." Iroh was created on a Discord call immediately after Elbin's death, and when the player said he wanted to be a wise old firebender, someone joked that he should name himself Iroh, and admittedly that was better than anything the player would have come up with otherwise. Iroh gave the party a lore dump. A few decades ago, the island was the home of Goldbloom Buckland, a fearsome pirate lord. Buckland hired Iroh's father to convert the island into a nature preserve. One day, a trio of adventurers showed up, consisting of some guy who kept whining about his dead wife, a swordsman with a sword made out of ice, and a sorcerer who controlled the wind. After they killed Buckland and his men, Iroh was left alone on the island for several decades. Honestly, it's a miracle he was so well adjusted. The dragon the party had seen was named Minerva. She was a pet of the late pirate lord. Iroh explained she wasn't evil, but was very territorial. He had seen her tearing up trees and bringing them back to the ruins of Buckland's base for weeks, although he wasn't sure why. The party rested for the night and just talked. Ren told Iroh about his sister. Kit told him about her desire to prove herself. Sean told him about how he felt the people didn't take him seriously. When the morning came, Iroh accompanied the party to the ruins of Buckland's fortress. As they searched the palace, they found a diary explaining Buckland's history with the Depths Queen. The party learned that years ago, after some druids at Cinder Tower unearthed a magic torch, Buckland was sent there to kill everyone and turn the tower to rubble. As a reward, the Depths Queen used her magic to give him a cool dinosaur island. The party continued searching and eventually stumbled upon a secret treasure room. Kit pushed open the door and found nothing. An empty vault filled with dust. Lying on the ground was a slip of paper showing a spade and crossbones. A calling card left by a thief. Kit did not take this well. Losing the treasure she'd spent months searching for was bad. Elbin dying effectively for nothing only made things worse. The party decided to grab their masks and leave. The party arrived in the final room of the castle, a room with a collapsed ceiling where Minerva had built a nest out of trees in the party's mast. Minerva was gone at the moment, off searching for breakfast. And sitting in the center of the nest were 4 massive sapphires the size of a human head. Kit's eyes did the Mr. Crab thing as she contemplated how much money she could get for them. And now, allow me to recreate a conversation from that session. I go over and pick up a sapphire to examine it. Roll for investigation. 16. Okay, so you pick up the dragon egg and... Dragon egg? What? You said dragon egg. Did I say dragon egg? What a strange thing to say by accident. These are dragon eggs, aren't they? Okay, so on closer inspection, they appear to be dragon eggs. Kit slowly put the egg down and backed out of the room. Minerva the dragon returned and sniffed around. She knew the party had been there. Fortunately, the crew had a plan. Sean ran across the roof, distracting Minerva with his zoomies as Iroh's familiar snuck into the room. By the way, Iroh's fox was named Maz. Dope-ass name. Maz climbed onto the mast and used Iroh's favorite ability, fiery teleportation. The mast disappeared, transported to the vault room, leaving behind only ashes. Wildfire druids are really cool, by the way. The party put the mask in their bag of holding, snuck back to the boat, fixed it, and sailed away. Iroh, wanting to reconnect with humanity after being gone for so long, decided to tag along. That night, as the moonlight shined down on an empty ocean, Kit, Sean, and Ren said their goodbyes to their fallen leader. As per the instructions in his will, they buried Elbin at sea and watched as his body sunk below the dark waves. Ren Matarasi, now captain of the wretched wench, sailed off towards the nearest tower. One last thing before we end today's story. Iroh's player chose the hermit background, and as a result, Iroh had learned something about the world during his years of solitude. I decided to tell him, and only him, something very important. Late at night, as Iroh stared at the stars, he learned a terrifying truth. The gods that created this world weren't around anymore. Where they'd gone, he did not know.